Hi everyone, it's Jules by Jude. I'm back and ready to do another tutorial for you, and I'm going to start with explaining what all this stuff is. Now, for this particular project, you'll need to have a cane that you've already made, something similar to this or whatever it is that you might like. I am also going to try a flower cane that I had already showed you how to make. But for this, it's a bit of a kaleidoscope, or just a combination of different canes mixed together. It's just a pattern that I enjoyed making, and this is the result. So you'll have to have this to start, and if you need to know how to make a cane, or you already know, this is a great way of using it. Okay? So I'm going to put that aside for now, just so I can show you what I have done. This is a very simple project to do once you've made your cane. So inside my blank is a slice of my cane. Okay, and I did not use anything to secure this, which I thought I might, and now I see that that was not necessary, and it does not feel like it's going to come out. It's not going anywhere. So it's a good use. All right. You can put that in there and whack it around all you want. You can sand it down, put some resin on top. And that's what we're going to make. Okay, so let's get started. In the background, you might hear my ticker. If the projects behind me get done, we're going to see them as well. Now, okay, well, I have both sides. So let me show you and explain to you how I see this project being done. So when you're slicing your cane for this project, you have to look at what it is you need to fill. Now, if you want one consecutive slice, which that's what this is, otherwise it would have a black line in the center or somewhere else on the project, which it does not. It's all was on the border, and I sliced that off, and I'll show you that. So that said, it needs to be a fairly sized chunk being sliced off. Okay, something like that. So it's not a real thin one, it's a little bit on the thicker side. So now what I want you to do is just to start massaging the clay. In a sense, you're reducing, pushing and pulling, and I want to get it out as far as I can so that I can place this in my blank. And every so often I'm going to lay it on top, see where it's at. Now these blanks, if you're wondering where I got them online, and you can get them online in various places. I got mine on Amazon. I was doing a search for findings and blanks with bales, and the Bezel blank is really what I would assume that they would call that. So a Bezel blank. Now what you might want to do is just press down a little bit on this so that it starts to become a little bit more on the level side. Place it back in there. See how it's getting there? Now, believe it or not, with this I want to cut that black out. You can choose to keep some of it in, but as you can see, it's starting to mesh together a little bit. And I don't want to use too much of my cane for this project. In other words, I don't want to go any thicker than I already did, and I'd say that was about 1/4 of an inch, which is already pretty thick. Again, you can see that I'm pushing and pulling, and let's see where we're at now. Oh, look at that. Alright, that said, I'm going to turn this around a little bit, make sure that it's covering everything. I place it on top, gently push in on the bezel. And I can feel that for the most part it's already secure. Now what I'm going to do is my trimming. Now I want to expose this part of my bezel because I like the beaded part. You don't have to. It can be lapped over. I wouldn't suggest that though. So I'm going to just start trimming like so. Okay. All the way around. I did not put any solution on the back of my slice, and I don't feel that in this process that I need it. But if you want to be double sure, you can put some of your Polymer Clay bond on the back. You can put a release agent back there and pop it out after it bakes and then glue it in if you want. There's a couple ways you can do it. And as you can see, I'm starting to reveal. I'm going to go up here a little bit. There you go, see that? This bezel will be baked and was baked just as this one was. Okay. Look at that. Looking good. I can start to feel the raised edges here. And I don't want to go too far in now. That's what I'm trying to expose right there. Okay. A little bumpy. I've done too much at the top, but that's because I didn't go that far down. There we go. If you can see that edge right there. Now there is some black showing, so I'm going to try to push that towards the top because I want it to match, and I don't have much black on the edges here. So that would look, yeah, just wouldn't look right to me. Coming along. There we go. Perfect. Ah, it looks really cool. I really like this bezel. I really, really do. Now, still got a little bit of black up there, but as you maneuver it around, you will get it to be exactly the way you like it to be. Now this cane, as I said, was just a bunch of canes, bullseye canes, placed together, wrapped with black, here and there, different colors. There we go. Now the best thing to do at this point is make sure you have it exactly the way you want it. Now this side has not revealed all of the side that I'm trying to get to. There we go. There we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of paper, wax paper, or your choice of burnishing. go. Now, some of this has drifted off over here. Get off of there. You want to go through closely, make sure you got all your pieces of clay off of the base metal. So this side is, oh, there you go. See, it did finish baking. All right. And what I did was held this side to side, and I'll show you what I mean. Just because I don't want to do too much sanding at the end of the procedure, so I want to make sure that that's the raises. So I tilted it down like this so I can see the sides really well. As you can see, it has no issue with this clay sticking to the inside. Now that I've done that, I want to do a little bit of wax paper. Like so. Burnish. Just like that. Now, when I did that, I'm sure I went over my edge and probably covered up some of that. So I want to go back for a final scrape, make sure I have everything I want to expose exposed. I wouldn't say it would be impossible after baking, but it probably would be more difficult than it is right now. And in this instant, it actually has more to do with this edging, which is very similar to a beaded edge made on the bezel in the metal, but I want to expose that. It's something I want to be able to see at the end of the day. Little design element. Well, it's good to be meticulous sometimes. Alright, I think we're about ready to go. I want to show you a rose one in a minute here. I forgot that this is a rounded edge on the interior of the bezel. And because I see it as a square on the outside, I wasn't thinking, so I gotta make sure I get that out of there. That's what I'm going back after here. It's rounded, not sharp edge. There we go. Alright. Now, it's important to know that once you get this far, you want to bake it 275 for an hour. This is the finished product. This is unbaked. So as you can see, they're very similar. Haven't changed very much. So why don't we see if we can get a rose in on maybe one of these bezels. Now I'll put that one into bake. Give us a little bit of a design. Now if you missed how to make a rose cane, you can go back on one of my videos, or you can use any of the other lovely ladies or men video and learn how to do this cane. Very easy too, it's a very beginner cane. So I'm going to make it thick because we discussed why. I don't want to distort it too much, so in order to do that I don't want it to spread too far. Look at that. It's not far at all. So let's get to our business here. And when you're pushing, there we go. Now this might come up. No, it didn't. I thought for sure it might. Alright, now that you have your rows implanted in there, you want to work on your thickness. See if we can get it distributed properly. And keep in mind that, you know, I'm going to push this out and then I'm going to trim. Because that's the only way I can get it to be the right thickness. See that? And I'm going to go around and around until I get the thickness proper. Alright. Okay, let's try this again. We still have more to go. There we go. Don't be surprised if it comes out. It's okay. You can place it back in. And I mean, when you're pressing, I'm always expecting it to come back out actually. And if it does, and it has for me before, then you just press it back in. Okay? Now I'm looking closely at my edges, making sure that it's not sticking way up on one end and real low on the other. I want to get it as equal as possible. I want to set it in here properly, if I can. I'm going to dry. And we don't want anything hanging over it either, making it look less than. You can smooth it with your fingers too, just to get that extra smoothness. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I seen at one of the shows, I saw a woman who did quite a bit of this in different metals. So it doesn't have to be a bezel, it can be other type of metal jewelry where she had placed her polymer clay. Now, you see what I'm doing? I'm burnishing this so that my fingerprints don't go on it. Again, with this, you want to turn it around. Look at it. I think it's very pretty, actually. So that's now you just bake this at 275. It comes out. If you do your due diligence and you make it as smooth as possible, you don't have to do very much sanding, if any at all. Then you have to just decide whether or not you want your piece to be resonated or not. Now this one needs to be, I just put it over there and it got, so let me just, I could feel it. No, it would be in here. Oh, you don't want to crank your paper up either. Alright. There are some of the pieces. Now I had already baked some. I don't think I'm going to be able to take it off the tile, but you'll be able to see it, okay? Here we go. One thing to note about some of these is if you don't put enough clay in, you're going to have it recede, and I had it recede a little bit here So, you know, if you push down too much and you don't clean off the edges, you'll have to do that at the end. So I would just say the biggest thing here is to make sure that you have the correct thickness of your slice when you slice it. And that's there's not a formula for that. I mean, sure, I guess technically somewhere there is, but really what you just want to do is use your best judgment. If it's a deep bezel, you're going to need a thicker slice to push out the edges. It's kind of like when you're reducing, that process that you think about is very similar here. And as I said, you can either use someone else's cane or create your own. And there's videos I have for creating some very basic canes, including the rose. And there are other ladies and gentlemen out there that have lots of cane making videos for you. So I did not use any bonding agent here or releasing agent, and I feel confident that they will hold. If you don't, you might want to use a bonding agent. And let me see if I can show you what that is. And also there's a clear poly clay that works great. And it's a liquid. I call it glue. To be honest with you, I call it glue. And you'll be fine with that, you know. Now, I haven't tried it, but you can use a releasing agent before you bake, like baking soda or cornstarch in the bezel, and I believe that will release the clay form after you bake it into one of these, and then pop it out, put some glue like super glue. I use Gorilla Glue, is my favorite to use. That stuff is great. And place that on the back of your clay and a little bit on your bezel, and allow it to dry for 24 hours, and that sucker's not going anywhere. So anyhow, there you go. There's your new tutorial from me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like it, share it, and subscribe. Have a blessed day.